This is what you brought, Joe? This? As the producer, I was vehemently against this.
Are you crazy? Have you lost all of your mind? You've lost all of your mind. I thought this was going to be exciting. I remember I said, I'm just going to belittle him and tell him he's an idiot. And I was joking. Turns out that was correct. Can I get a 2-3 pick swap?
You got one of them 2-3 swaps, dog?
Give me a 2-3 swap. You got yourself a deal. My goodness, I can't get a word in edgewise with Roma Dunze's mother in this podcast. Listen, Miss Odunze, can I say something real quick?
You best not be talking about my Rome. Sights and sounds and edges found. You will now get down with the Underground, the show that goes to the depths of the Dynasty landscape. Dynasty Underground is back in the crib. I'm Trav, hosting and West Coasting. This fine Tuesday night we are recording. Preseason is in full swing, and the usual suspects are by my side. The wise man, Jax Falcone. How are you today? Your kids are back in school, so things are rolling, brother.
Yeah. I'm telling you, there's a certain amount of, energy, shall I say, to this particular show. We're feeling it pre-show. I think this is going to be a hell of a show, so buckle in. Buckle up. Buckle down.
Buckle whatever, man. Whatever you got, buckle it. Whatever you got. Because Jax is fired up already, and we have barely even started.
Let's go.
In the corner office with the view. Hope that building has some seismic upgrades for what you're about to provide tonight, Joe. How are you, brother?
Jax nailed it, man. The energy level is through the roof. We are on the precipice of the 2025 season. It's such a good time, not only because we're in redraft mode, we're getting ready for all those leagues, but all our league mates who, maybe they're in a dynasty league or two, they're starting to get re-engaged, right? And they're starting to kind of wrap their heads around player values. And this is alpha right here. It's such a good time to be throwing out trade offers. As soon as depth charts start dropping, as soon as players are backups, as soon as people's worldviews on players are starting to get shaken, that's when you can make just incredible plays, conviction plays on guys that you're in on. And this depth chart's like a smokescreen. So I've just been devilishly, deviously making trades left and right. You guys were witness to 3 of them today in Omega. And man, it was like a back-to-back sequence. Trav, I use you as a stepping stone.
Okay, that's okay.
And I don't know. Can I kick it off just talking about what I did on Omega today?
You should mention this collection of trades for those that play Dynasty. These moves were not necessarily seismic earth movers, but they were under the radar genius moves, and I really appreciate them. These are the edges that you're trying to find, but sometimes don't have the strategies or whatever to get them done. Mr. Quave is going to share with us a little bit what his thought process was. So, Joe, please share with us, because I think people are going to love this.
I like the way you frame that. The way I would frame it is I'm increasing the median floor outcome of my team. And I know that's an oxymoron because the floor is obviously below the median. I'm raising the floor and thereby raising the median. But these are the marginal moves where I'm just making them in order to increase the likelihood that, my team does well. So in Omega, this league that we're in, it's an undroppables league with a bunch of the homies. I made the championship last year and lost. Just to set the table for you a little bit, in that league, I've got Darnold as my QB3. I've got Chase Brown and Achane as my starting RBs. And you guys know me, I like to handcuff. And so I was looking at the table and trying to figure out how to get some handcuffs. I already have Jalen Wright to back up Achane, but I'm a little bit worried about Wright because
as you should be.
He's been playing just terribly in the preseason. And Ollie Gordon is, now becoming a very real threat to become the RB2. I'm I need to get my hands on Ollie Gordon. And
Taj
I would
Brooks.
love to get my hands on Taj Brooks. And I've got this guy as my QB3 that I don't believe in at all in Sam Darnold. So as soon as the news drops today that Richardson is now a backup and that Daniel Jones is the starter, I was like, all right, this is it. I can move some pieces around now. Right. So I go straight to our boy Marcus. Shout out Marcus. And I just offer him Darnold. He's got Taj Brooks. I offer him Darnold for Richardson and Taj Brooks. And my thinking is this is like, this is a standalone trade. I would do this deal because I want Taj Brooks to back up Chase Brown. And Richardson's upside is so much higher than Darnold's is, even if like he's, whatever, a career backup when he plays, like a Justin Fields type, right? Like Trey Lance type, right? Like when he plays, I'm going to be able to start this guy. And I don't feel that good about Darnold having a career beyond 2025.
Yep. And
So-
if you're wondering about, oh, well, you just lost your third string quarterback. Listen, people, just wait. There's more. Go ahead.
So then I'm
You look at your buddy Trav.
Well, I'm
buddy
looking.
Trav.
Well, I'm looking ahead. I'm
Yeah.
2 steps ahead, right? I'm 2 steps ahead. So I'm actually looking at Sean Thomas's team, and he's got Daniel Jones, and I'm like, all right, I've got Richardson. I need to get Jones, and he also has Ollie Gordon, who I already said was a target of mine in this deal. And I also know that Sean Thomas. This is a classic example of know your league mates, know who you're playing, right? I know that Sean's a Steelers fan, right? He does. He does one of our team series at the Undroppables with Marcus talking about the Steelers. So I'm like, all right, this is a Steelers fan. Like I've got
you have Roman Wilson.
I've got Roman Wilson. Of course, I've got Roman Wilson. I'm like, and he also has Najee Harris, and I've got Kamani Vidal. So I'm just like, there's a trade there. But how do I really make this happen? So in order to get there, and this is critically important, you want to make your standalone deals, right? It's like I can't bank on the fact that Domino 3 is going to fall. So I have to be able to live with Domino 2. So I go to my boy Trav.
And Trav is a Spencer Rattler fan, isn't he now?
Yeah, exactly.
Easy.
So I've got
Easy.
A little bit.
I got Spencer
I
Rattler.
think he's going to start over Shuck this year for sure.
He might.
Trav's got Aaron Rodgers, and so I just go up to him and I'm just like, Spencer Rattler for Aaron Rodgers. He counters me, Spencer Rattler and a third for Aaron Rodgers and a fourth. And I'm good with this deal because last year I traded Trav. Last year I traded Trav like Rodgers and a third for a second. So I'm I don't lose. I can't lose this deal.
So now you've got yourself Aaron Rodgers.
So now I've got Aaron Rodgers. I've got Roman Wilson. I've got Anthony Richardson. I've got my sights set on Daniel Jones and Ollie Gordon. I've already secured the Cincinnati backfield. I want to secure the Miami backfield, and I want to secure the Indy QB room. So I go straight to Sean, and I offer him Roman Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, and Kamani Vidal for Daniel Jones and Ollie Gordon. Not only that, I called my shot in the chat because everyone was like, that was a weak trade. That was a weak trade.
Is that what the chat said?
No, Jack, tell him what you said.
After you guys made that trade, I suggested you ought to go just jerk each other off, was actually what I suggested.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
you know.
And I said, wait till you see what I'm going to do next. I hadn't even proposed the trade to Sean yet, but I knew he was going to accept
can't
it.
even believe that.
Anyways,
That's
I
part of the whole
proposed it.
thing.
So I
Smashes.
send Roman Wilson, Vidal, and Aaron Rodgers for Ollie Gordon and Daniel Jones. And now I've secured the Miami backfield. I've secured the Cincinnati backfield. And my QB3 is Indy quarterback. I don't feel like I've downgraded my quarterback at all. If anything, I've increased the upside of the quarterback if Anthony Richardson ever becomes a thing. And I've also, this is the raising the median part, what I'm talking about, where I've got Taj Brooks to back up Chase Brown in a high-powered offense, and I've got Ollie Gordon in case Jalen Wright's not the dude in another, I don't know, we'll see what Miami ends up being, but this is like the higher median. Now it's like I went from a team that, if everything goes as we expect, is going to make the playoffs and might be a contender to, even if things don't go as we expect, this is probably still a playoff team because I've secured myself at so many positions.
You did great, son. You did great.
Yeah, you cleaned up your depth chart really nice. You went from like Darnold, Roman Wilson, and Vidal to Daniel Jones, Ollie Gordon,
A
and
Rich and
A-Rich and Taj
Taj
Brooks.
Brooks.
That's
Yeah.
That was
fucking
great.
nice.
All
dude.
it cost me
That
was
was
a
great.
third for a fourth, if you think about it.
Yeah, and that's whatever. And I was happy with
That's
my
great.
deal too, because I think I get a couple of starts out of Rattler, and I turned a fourth into a third. So
No, you
happy
did fine
to
too.
be
Yep.
one of your stepping
So
stones, sir.
not
That's right.
not to toot my own horn here. That's not the point here. The point is this. I was looking 3 steps ahead. I knew my league mates, and I was willing to make marginal trades that standalone were okay and I could live with. But I had an end goal in sight, and I secured the bag all in like a 24-hour period because right now, this week, these next 2 weeks, this is a great time to make trades, and people are paying attention. So just go do it.
I love it.
And
Great
the
job,
signs
buddy.
are there for guys like Taj Brooks and Ollie Gordon too. Some decent play in the preseason, and I like everything you said about those Colts quarterbacks. So, boys, just before we get into a little bit more of the episode, I want to let everybody know to please go subscribe on that YouTube channel with the Undroppables and check us out on your audio platforms at the Undroppables on social media. And just as a little teaser, we've got some big things coming for our website soon, theundroppables.com. So stay tuned. Lots of fun. I'm in the back end playing with Coder, and it's going to be a good time there. So, boys, we are doing rookie heat checks. And so I think that little trade scenario you were just talking about, and we're not done on those yet.
I was
Folks.
going to
We're not
say,
done.
can I hijack real quick?
We're not done. We'll
Trav,
lead nicely into it.
my juices are flowing. My juices are flowing. I've made 3 trades today. I want to make another one. I know Jax is jealous. And we're in another league together called Dead Serious with some ballers. The aforementioned Jay Wood, Coder, is the defending champ. We got Danny Kelly, JB Cho, Muzio, Stalder, Bird Gang, and who could forget? I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the immortal Alex Kemp. Shout out Kemp. So, anyways, I'm
True.
in that league with Jax, and Jax, I want to throw something your way, dude.
So this is exciting because you basically did mention that you were going to do this. So now I do know you're about to make an offer to me. You can make that offer if you'd like. You can go right ahead. I will say that I don't know if anybody wants me to set up the team first or if you want to send me the trade first. It's fine either way.
I think this is
You do
funny
what you got to
because
do.
it's not a normal trading scenario, right? Because we're doing it live on the air. We'll see what happens. But we should kind of set the table for the listener a little bit.
Make it.
Keep her tight. Let's not list off our whole rosters or nothing here,
No,
boys.
Yeah,
No.
I'm just going to name some key points. Hey, you know what? It's going to affect my trade strategy. No, I'm not going to do
No,
that. I'm
go
just going
ahead.
to make you an
Just
offer.
send it.
All right, I'm going to say this. Jax, my team is on the cusp of, playoff / contender, and I could use another piece or two. What I'm lacking is a QB3, and Jax is like, did a beautiful productive struggle and loaded up on a bunch of QBs. So he's the dude that's got all the QBs, and I want to get an extra QB. So that's kind of where I'm coming from.
I see.
Yeah.
That could work.
Yeah. So
At least you're
Spend
talking to the team, the needs of my team. I have certainly set myself up with quarterback. Even in the rookie draft, I made quarterback picks where I would have otherwise, had I been filling a roster, made different selections. But for the reason that Joe is coming to me, I knew eventually these quarterbacks would be potentially very, very good trade value. So let's see what you've got in mind, sir.
yeah, well, I mean, you did. We're in year 2. Jax went productive struggle year 1, which I respect. And what it's time for you to do now is go get some superstars. So let's just. I've got a few different
Ooh.
options here, but we're just going to come out and say I'm going to offer you a superstar,
Press it.
Patrick Mahomes for Dak Prescott and Jackson Dart. Just to paint the picture, folks, I've got CeeDee Lamb and Malik Neighbors, so I've got a little stackability there.
So this is fine, but in a lot of ways, I'm giving up 2 for 1. Not a real trade that I tend to make. I would want something more on top of this, or I'd want a different type of structure. Yeah, two quarterbacks for 1 quarterback. Not my favorite deal. I don't really need to get any better at quarterback. I am the number 1 quarterback team in the league per Dynasty Daddy, per Keep Trade Cut. So when you look at my
Jaden
roster,
Daniels.
Yep. I've got Jaden Daniels to lead it off. I've got JJ McCarthy. I have Dak Prescott, and then I do have lots of picks, and I've got Dart, Milroe, and Shador. I would think that me building this team, I see myself as a builder through Jaden, JJ and Dart. That would be the way that I see building the future of the team. Mahomes is fine, but he's more of a capstone than he is a building block. So I would probably, I would probably leave it in the queue, and I wouldn't really respond to it. I don't see a counter that I'm super excited about. So to set my team up, I've got a lot of things that are in flux. I don't have any running backs, which is how I build my teams. But I do have, so my team is loaded at that quarterback position. It's loaded at wide receiver, for a team that doesn't have a ton. But I have, let me just go ahead and count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks next year. So I'm going right into this 26 draft loaded for bear. I also feel like I've got a lot of opportunities to get the types of players I might need, but I really just need running backs to cap it off. I don't know that necessarily adding Patrick Mahomes specifically increases my chances of winning right now, and it does split two assets that I don't know. I'm not blown away by that. Of course, I'm also a gigantic Dart homer. I think he's moving way up. So, I don't know that it's a good deal for me. So
I was going to say, just as the third party, knowing Jax, I was thinking that Jackson Dart would probably be a non-starter in that one, is what I was thinking.
It's a tough one. You're going to have to overwhelm me with Dart. So you'd have to send more stuff. It'd have to be like, oh, geez, that really now makes sense.
I thought
Dart isn't to me. Dart isn't the difference between Dak and Mahomes. For me personally,
I thought you might say that, and that's what we call an opening offer, just to get the conversation going. So it just so happens I have some other positions which you may be interested in.
Potentially.
All right, so here's offer number 2.
Sure, go for it.
Mahomes, Chuba Hubbard, and Dallas Goedert for Prescott, Prescott, Dart, and Tyler Warren.
No.
And Tyler Warren.
Are you crazy? Have you lost all of your mind? You've lost all of your mind.
Jax is also.
I thought this was going to be exciting. I can't wait. It was funny. I was just going to.
Is what you brought, Joe?
This is a real trade conversation.
I remember I said I'm just going to belittle him and tell him he's an idiot. And I was joking. Turns out that was correct.
As the producer, I was vehemently against this.
All right, now
not that much. I had to
do the dance. Now let's get down to the brass tacks here. Here's the reality. I've got Hubbard. I've got Mahomes. I've got CeeDee Lamb. I've got Malik Neighbors. Your corresponding pieces are Jonathan Brooks to Hubbard. You've got Minshew and Rice to Mahomes. You've got Prescott to Lamb. You've got Dart to Neighbors. There's a deal in there. There's a deal in there that makes sense for both of us. I'd be very reluctant to give up a superstar wide receiver. I kind of feel, and you've got.
I'll
some
give you all 5 first round my picks for Lamb and Neighbors. How's that?
All 5? No, that's not enough.
There you go.
So. Sorry, I'm trying to win now. I
made you an offer.
I also don't know if everyone else is necessarily as attacking stacks as you guys as well. I know
I'm not necessarily. I'm fine with it, but yeah.
I'll be fine. I'll be honest. I don't love stacking in Dynasty for the same reasons you've described, Trav, which is like, if your whole ship goes down, if like you're too stacked. But I do like betting on myself, and I do like if you get it right, it can carry you, right? Anyways, other guys.
By the way, Trav. Do you like how he just was like, and Tyler Warren?
Yeah. I was like, and Tyler Warren? Like, what?
Like this.
You went in the middle of the second round in our draft. I just wanted to be said. Nobody wanted him.
I want him now, pal.
Yesterday's price is not the same as today's, Joe.
No. I'm really, really enjoying Tyler Warren on this roster too. I mean, he really He really ties the room together for those Lebowski fans. I mean, look, this team is a perfect Jax Falcone build. It is, by the way, in Keep Trade Cut, I am the overwhelming number one in terms of value on this team, because you say, oh, he has 5 first-round picks, productive struggle. What does that roster look like? I already told you I have Jaden Daniels, J.J. McCarthy, Dak Prescott, and Jackson Dart. You're like, oh, your only quarterbacks? I actually still have David Montgomery as my RB1. Not bad. I mean, he's not that terrible. Jackson Smith and Jigba, Rashee Rice, T. Higgins, hold on, Godwin, Addison. I'm okay. I've got, plus 5 first-round picks. I'm okay. I'm not too worried. I'm thinking about taking this team into the season and just seeing where I can buy cheap. Maybe a couple second rounds. I do have extra second-round picks. Maybe I can buy a couple running backs for seconds. Selling. I may be a seller of like T. Higgins. I may be a seller of Chris Godwin if he comes back. Obviously not now. I'm not really looking to sell Jackson Dart. I might sell Dak. Dak, I think, is a great sell for me.
I think so too. That's kind of why I
sell. You want to buy Dak and give me a real running back, not this Chuba Hubbard nonsense. I'd be willing to listen.
Hey.
No, I'm just saying. Look, Chuba's a 1-year rental, and we know that. And he's that. Look, come on now, guys. What are you doing?
I thought Chuba would be a nice RB2 for you. I'm not selling any of my other RBs, so I guess if you're not interested,
that's okay. Chuba. Yeah, it's not natural yet. I mean, at some point, someone's going to need a quarterback. You actually could use Dak because you have the CD situation, but yeah,
and
I mean,
I could use a third quarterback. That's like one of the glaring weaknesses on that team, right?
Right. Well, buy Aaron Rodgers for that flip flop that you did with Trav. That ought to seal things up on that sinking ship. I'm going to take your ass down. I can't wait to spend my couple first just to beat your ass in this league. Updates coming in the future, listeners. You hear it here.
I like it.
I'll be the defending champ before you beat me, sir.
I don't know about that, pal. I don't know about that. I got a lot of suspensions on my team. I got Rashee Rice and Jordan Addison. Let's go.
Dude, that sucks. But
that's all right.
You can survive.
It was a rebuild. It's
I mean, I'll trade for Rashee and Addison and Dak
for Patrick Mahomes.
For neighbors
and maybe like a first in there. I think we're getting pretty close now.
There you go.
Ooh,
now we're talking.
TBD. We will revisit that if these guys make a trade, because I'm not letting these fucking shenanigans carry on any longer.
Starting to get a little exciting.
Any longer. I can't even run down the goddamn show here. Getting interrupted.
I'm gonna send that one right now.
And I fucking took it personally, okay?
He might click that.
Don't send it while we're on the show.
No, go ahead. I can not really, but I'm gonna say I can.
This is like usually a multi-day dance, and we're trying to condense it into the opening.
Yeah. Okay, listeners. So for the few of you that are still with us,
they're all listening. Trust me.
This show, we love you all.
And if they're not, they can beat it.
We know that you love us and you love the process, and that was just as much as I joke. That was a look into some of the process that we have when we do this stuff and we take a peek, because Joe, on some teams you might have had more of a conversation with that. So as much as I'm bagging on the trade conversation, it is good. But this episode, guys, is going to be rookie heat checks, and I think we are the Dynasty Underground. That is kind of one of the centerpieces, is our rookie evaluation process that we had throughout the offseason, and now looking at how they're doing as we approach their rookie seasons, because a lot has changed from draft season, fellas. I know you guys are fired up. Some of these rookies got a lot of steam on them as well. And so we're excited to get into some of them. And I'm not going to waste any time here. We're going to get into the hottest one on the block right now. Some call him JCM, some call him Bill, but around these parts, we prefer to go by the field or cross rocket. I can't even get it out. Cross rocket. Cross rocket. That's Jacory Croskey-Merritt. Getting tons of steam. I believe 7th round, 29th pick in the 7th round. But the positives that are coming are that he's been looking good in the preseason and in training camp. There are rumors just in the last couple of days that the Washington Commanders are shopping Brian Robinson to other teams across the NFL. We've talked a little bit about it, boys, and there's going to be a lot of theory involved in this. What are we doing here with Jacory Croskey-Merritt with this value spike? Joe, let's start with you. Tell me about how you're feeling about him on the Commanders, and then kick it right to Jax.
Well, I've got the field on 25% of my best ball team. So I'm very excited about this development. Most of those were 16th, 17th, 18th round picks. Now he's going in like the 14th. It's getting a little harder. I still fired on him in like the 15th, like yesterday. So I'm excited about him, but I think people are getting way over their skis, if I'm being honest.
Absolutely.
I in best ball, I think you can plug him into the Brian Robinson like price range. Honestly, I think he should be around a 10th round pick. In Dynasty, there's nothing Brian Robinson does that the field cannot do. So from that standpoint, it's very interesting. But I'm seeing him go for like crazy prices. Let me ask you guys this. Let's just flip it around for a second. What would you trade for B-Rob? Let's just say the field was not on the Commanders. What would you trade for B-Rob? I would say I'd have a hard time going anything above a mid-second for him, right?
That's tops. I'd be trying to go a third plus a nominal player.
Yeah, I'd be like a second for B-Rob and a third or something like that. Is
Yeah,
what
I'd
I'd be
want
trying to
something
do.
back in that. And it
Yeah.
sucks. I really like B-Rob, but you're spot on, Joe. Like the rumblings are not very good. I think he's a better pass catcher than he's given credit for, but I don't know if the NFL is going to ever give him that. And so, yeah,
Well,
it's
he actually caught a lot of passes last year. That had a lot to do with Austin Eckler's injury, but like he lacked explosiveness, which I think is like the main reason that they're trying to get rid of him. So I don't know. I mean, on film, he looks good. He looks relatively explosive, but he's not like special. He's like a good, solid running back, which is kind of what B-Rob was. It's just like JCM's a little faster and a little more explosive and a little bit more violent. And so, yeah,
never been shot.
you combine all those things. And yeah, it's a better player, but mid to high second, I don't think I'm going beyond that. And that feels like crazy aggressive, right?
You talking about for JCM or Brian Robinson?
For JCM.
I would never buy JCM right now. This team is way too high. It's like a no buy zone for me.
Yeah, Jax, what do you think?
I think that's right. So, I looked at Keep Trade Cut, excuse me, just for the sort of value that he's at right now. He's running back 50 in Dynasty, but going up. He was running back 54 earlier today. So that's a upward trend. He's probably real value higher than that. And then the more exciting thing that I think I did this on the Undrafted too. So there's more of these trades, but I wanted to look at some of the trades that have been executed in various leagues. So I looked at mostly 12-team leagues, PPR, Superflex, tight end premium, the whole thing. And so most of these leagues are that way. Just earlier today, JCM was sold for a 27 first straight up. Like, that's crazy. So that's happening. That happened in a league. There's some other more sort of realistic trades that unreal, right?
Yeah.
Here's one that I absolutely love. If you're going to selling Braylon Allen and Jacory Croskey-Merritt for 26-1 and Riley Leonard, whatever, but, sort of selling, packaging them up to get that first, where in most cases you can't, JCM for a 28 second. That's a great trade. This guy sold on all the hotness. Emeka Buka, JCM, and Dante Thornton for a 26 first, 27 first, and a 26 fourth.
Beautiful. Getting 2 firsts out of those guys is really nice. Really nice.
Yeah,
except
absolutely.
except maybe Igbuka, right? Because if you think Igbuka is worth a first for sure,
yes,
he's probably going to get to being worth 2 firsts potentially. We think.
I think so, but still a nice sell to like sort of package.
The other guys are pretty bad bets still, right? So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. What else here? There's some stupid ones like a 26 first and JCM for Quinshon Judkins. Like, who's paying a 26 first for Quinshon right now?
That's crazy. Pretty interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't do that, and we all know how I feel about Quinshon.
Yeah,
it's. I'm looking at my 2025 rankings here, guys. I'm not even going to talk about dynasty rankings for JCM because I haven't even steamed him up yet. I'm not even going to like plunk him in anywhere necessarily just yet on those. But I had B-Rob around the running back 34. And so I would probably maybe put JCM in there, maybe a little bit lower just for the fact that he's a rookie, might not be trusted in as many situations as B-Rob. Austin Eckler is a vet there. They got Jeremy McNichols, who proved kind of pesky last year as well. And so I don't think the whole role, even on first and second downs, is going to get handed over to JCM for the entire season. I think there's a chance this team brings somebody in off the scrap heap as well. Because going in with just JCM, Eckler, and McNichols, Eckler, who has had really bad injuries previously, like I think that there might be another body that comes in there. And then I think from a dynasty perspective, it's like, I think of it as like where there's smoke, just get high is kind of the saying that I made up for it, boys, because if there's this much smoke on a guy, you got to find a way to get high. And so if I can trade him for like a second, that's a back end second, and that's all I can get for him, then I'm probably
Sure.
doing that. I'm not selling at all costs, like taking like a shitty third or something like that. It would have to probably be a second with the steam that he has right now. So if you're selling and you're in an I'm going to sell at all costs, like I'm getting high off this steam, set yourself a bar, right? And I think the bar for him right now is a second round pick.
Totally.
And then your pluses raise that bar. So just keep that in mind and try and work some shit. I haven't had a chance because work was really busy today. Joe, I already saw a notification that you put JCM on a trade block somewhere. I'm going to go make sure that I'm putting him out on trade blocks to see what I can get for him, because that second seems to be easily available for him right now. And guys,
and if you're working some trades, like, there's players that aren't worth a 27 first, like DK Metcalf. We just talked about him on Twitter. He's not worth a 27 first. I see a trade right here. DK plus Jacory Croskey-Merritt for a 27 first. Boom. So if you want to attach the steam, you can use the steam in creative ways.
That's the way you do it.
Yes.
I think you bring up a good point. Is like people so often just worry about like just the pick value by themselves, but it's like you throw a just gigantic cherry on top. Yeah. JCM could just be the gigantic cherry on top to get you those 27 first. I do want to go back and just say, Trav, how dare you disrespect Chris Rodriguez like that and not mention him?
Sorry, he actually totally, dude. And I was,
but it illustrates the point. Like he kind of looked just like JCM last night. It's like people are getting really excited, and I just kind of feel like he's a dude. So I don't know. I'm excited about him too. I'm very happy. It's definitely found money for where we drafted him. But I mean, like anything involving a first. No.
Yeah, because there is going to be a dip in that real value versus what is only perceived right now. Like it is only artificial. We haven't seen it in regular season NFL play right now. And so there's going to be a plateau that comes somewhere. And so try and capitalize, maybe right before it drops, right? So I was actually looking, boys, I did a little stat head pull because we like to do those around here at running backs who were drafted between rounds 5 and 7 who had a 10 point per game season in their first 4 seasons, and that's within the last 20 years. And this is just, I was just trying to look at like the range of dudes that have done it. Looking at like the highest end for a guy like this, Jordan Howard, Chris Carson, guys that were both drafted. Jordan Howard 5th round, Carson in the 7th. And then you look down like a little bit lower, guys who did it maybe one time. You got like a Jay Ajayi, a Myles Gaskin type deal. So it's a pretty long shot. Chase Brown is in that list as well. And so I don't think I'm putting him on the level of the high end of that. So if we're looking at the lower end of that, it's names like Andre Ellington, Zach Stacy, Tim Hightower, Ryan Torain. You remember him, boys?
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh, yeah.
Sure do.
Damn.
But by the way, here's another one. Here's another one. JCM, Will Shipley in a 28 second, right? Will Shipley, JCM 28 second.
Will Shipley and a 28 second. Okay. All right.
Yep. For a 28 first and Jalen Noel. Like,
hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love that. I love that. Whoever got that 28 first is a genius.
You know what I'm saying? You're like, it's just a first, second pick swap. Plus you get Jacory. It's like, I don't know how. Yeah, it's like you just add the steam to something and make it seem like nothing. Like, that's nothing. It's just a 28 second to a 28 first. No big deal, right? NBD. And then
the 28, they don't have to think about that for 2 years. Like, they don't have to think about that thing. So they're like, whatever, man.
Yeah, I get JCM right now.
That's nice.
It's just nice. Just attach his steam to something and then get yourself a first.
The beauty of asking for a first 3 years from now is just
it's beautiful.
God bless those owners. Like
anyways,
by the way, Jax, I just sent you a counter offer.
Okay, I will look.
Fucking assholes.
I've been
You
working
bastard.
on it as we talk about JC.
Maybe we'll come first full circle and we'll find a landed deal by the end of this show, boys. You never know. He has a name though, boys. Jackson, what's that name?
It's not good enough. What he sent, it's not good enough, but it's okay. He's
Nice.
Trying
having
to
some
set
fun.
you up.
This is actually pulling away from the show now. That's great.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. His
Posed
name is
you a
the field.
question. I set it up nice. I said
Who
he
we
has a
talking about?
name.
His name is fucking
Tell
Dart,
us
bro.
what his name is, Jax. You
Name.
motherfucker. There's going to be a lot of
His
F-bombs
name-
on this
His
show.
name is fucking Dart.
Yeah.
By the way, there was some controversy on Twitter. Where did that originate? I could have sworn I was the one who said his name is fucking Dart.
I don't know. I'm not here to like claim it. I just feel like it's something I would say, so that's why I wanted to.
We'll have to go back to the tape.
I'm not going to go
It's-
back.
It's said in my voice. The quote is in my voice. Whether you came up with, I'm sure you came up with it, Mr. Smarty Pants.
yeah. Your fucking collared shirt and your pinkies up.
Yeah, your collared shirt thought of it, and I said it. Fucking awesome, you know.
So Jackson Dart had a great preseason game this past week. 14 for 16.
Great preseason
Another,
game.
14 for 16, 137 yards and a touchdown. Added a score on the ground as well. Ahead of schedule by all accounts too, and looking way better than Russell Wilson from the highlights that I watched, fellas. Like, is his timeline accelerated because of this, do you think? Jack or Joe, go ahead. You're nodding your head there.
I feel like we're getting to the point where if Dart's not playing soon, there's going to be a team-wide rebellion unless Russell Wilson lights it up week 1. I think this could turn on the team and the franchise really quickly. They could say Russell Wilson's our starter, and plan on, plugging Dart in week 10 all they want. But those guys, the rest of the team, they got something to play for. They got contracts to play for, and they don't care what the schedule looks like. They're playing a win. And if you're trotting out Russell Wilson, who doesn't have a chance out there anymore, and not to say that he doesn't, he could play great and they could win. But, I mean, it's clear to anybody with eyes who's got the juice.
Yeah. No, said perfectly. And I mean, imagine Russell Wilson just scrambling, getting caught from behind, and them losing, and they're just like scoring 16 points, and you're like, whoa, dude. They're losing 20-16, like just these sort of not enough juice type of games where they know that if they bring in Jackson Dart, they've got some juice and they've got a shot. It's been the point I've made about it's just a higher variance, right? I think you have a lower floor with Russell Wilson. You have a lower floor and a higher ceiling with Jackson Dart. Like, you just have so many different outcomes. It's just a completely different, situation. But at least you get the kid in there. I really don't care what they do because I feel like he's inevitable.
Yeah, people are calling for Jameis Winston to be traded.
Yeah.
I think Russell Wilson's the one that needs to get traded. I think you want to keep Jameis on that team as a backup to Dart, and I think you want to get Wilson out of that room and out of that city, if anybody will have him, because, like, I don't know, it just seems like a smoother locker room transition for the franchise. So we'll see how that plays out.
That's pretty smart.
I think it's interesting. Yeah, I think another interesting part too is that Jameis also looked pretty not great in that preseason game as well. So I wonder about his ability to even make the team. You know what I mean? They didn't sign him for very much. I guess they probably wouldn't cut him if they could trade him, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Either way, yeah, he's inevitable. That's the point, Jax, because he's looking good in the pocket, looking good getting out of the pocket, looking good firing the ball downfield. That arm looks nice. Woo, baby.
Quick processing, like that's the thing I've seen. Everything happens fast for him, every motion. There's no there's no to his game, right? There's no
Well, there can't be because he didn't have any in college either, right? Like they put him in positions.
Just saying, he has answers. Yeah, he has answers. Like, that's the thing. You see, it's like bah, bah. It's like, oh, whoa. It's like a puncher who comes out of UFC. Like, you're watching UFC, you watch a fight, and there's guys are moving slow. Next fight comes out, like, dude, this guy fucking throws heat.
Just being way more decisive. Yeah.
Like, whoa. It's like a whole different sport. So he looked that way. Now, granted, that is in preseason. So that's with a grain of salt. But
yeah, like you were saying, he's inevitable, and all that's happening this preseason is he's pushing that timeline up.
Yeah. So, boys, Over in Los Angeles this past Saturday, Quentin Johnston was carted off the field in Saturday's preseason game. Shout out to QJ. Never, ever like to see that. But that leads me into two wide receivers. One that we didn't necessarily expect to be in this conversation in Keandre Lambert-Smith, also known as KLS, which is much easier, out of Auburn. And another Ole Miss darling of the Dynasty Underground, Trey Harris. So, guys, both guys made big plays in the highlights I was watching of that game. I just was only able to get the highlights in, unfortunately. Trey had 8 targets in that game, and KLS had 6 targets in that game. So, for both guys, signs are really positive. I think they're probably both still behind Keenan Allen on that depth chart, obviously behind Ladd McConkey on that depth chart. So I think we maybe need to temper a little bit for the short term. And that's just saying like early 2025, because, mid to late 2025, I think one of these guys is going to be making an impact. But what are you seeing, Joe, on him? And is there any way that you're leaning? I know obviously Trey Harris has all of that draft capital, but Lambert-Smith has been making waves for weeks now.
Yeah, it's noteworthy that KLS was the first one of the two on the field.
Yeah.
When QJ went down, KLS came in. God, that's a lot of freaking initials.
Should we just call him KLS1? Sorry.
I love that. I love that. For you old school hip hoppers.
Sorry, was that boomerific?
That's a killer pull. No, I'm with it.
Thank you.
So, anyways, they both look really good. Obviously, the draft capitals with Trey Harris by a good 2 rounds or 3 rounds. KLS was your 4th or 5th round pick. Doesn't really matter. It's substantial. It's day 2 to day 3, right? So Trey Harris is the guy they're more invested in. I kind of don't feel like with this coaching staff that matters. It's like, what can you do for us? And I think they both do something similar, which is, as we've talked about in weeks past, open up the underneath stuff for, the Lads and the Keenan Allen. So they both look good. And I think that it's not going to be long before Keenan Allen's not playing football anymore. And I think both of these guys are on the field. I kind of think this Chargers receiving core is stacked for the long term. And I also think like the overwhelming or the overarching signal here is like Justin Herbert, despite their running tendencies and the perception of wanting to run, is set up to succeed for a long time. They've got a good O-line, even with Slater gone. I mean, I don't know. It's just wheels up for this entire organization and particularly the offense.
Yeah. I think he's pretty well positioned. I was just actually looking. I was watching the highlights, and KLS looks massive. He's 6'1", 190. Like, he looks so much bigger than that on the field, and he's like under 4.4 speed. So pretty sick rise.
Yeah, and I would just say that it's interesting to note that they use Trey Harris in ways we haven't really seen him used before, and he's doing a good job on all that stuff. Like the criticism of him was similar to Brian Thomas, and that's another thing we talked about here on this program, which is like, why can't he run more routes? Just because he didn't, like just like BTJ didn't, doesn't mean he can't. And in that preseason game, you saw him running a variety of routes that we didn't really see in his college resume, and he was doing a darn good job with it. So that's like harkening back to just what I said last week, is like, buy the dip on Trey Harris, because even if he takes a little bit of time to develop, like all the indicators are very good, tied to a good offense and a good coaching staff.
Can I ask a quick question? Just go back in time for just a moment. So we were talking about Jacory Croskey-Merritt. I just had one question I wanted to ask on the show before we moved along. Like, so is he, like, if you're redoing the rookies, we've got Genty, Henderson, Hampton, RJ Harvey, Caleb Quinshawn, right? Okay, Scadabo is kind of whatever. Is Croskey-Merritt the next guy?
No.
Right now? No, right? Like,
no.
Right?
He's behind Scadabo and Boot and
he's
Tootin
still, he's like maybe in the Devin Neal, Ollie Gordon tier for me still.
Yeah, like for me, like DJ Giddens, I think I like Giddens still, right?
Totally.
Am I crazy though? Like there's not as much steam on Giddens. Like I feel like you could, if you offered JCM for Giddens in a second, they'd probably say yes or whatever. Like, doesn't it feel like the value of JCM has far exceeded all these guys? I think you could probably easily get Tootin for for JCM, like easy. I don't even think that would
I
be
would do
hard, actually.
a heartbeat. I would do that in
Yeah.
a heartbeat.
But don't you think it would be easy?
Giddens is about the line.
Mhm.
I think after Tootin, he's in that Giddens range. So I think that's about the line. But like Tootin and Scadaboo are better prospects to me.
It's just
Let's
interesting.
not forget he's 24, almost 24 and a
Yeah.
half years old already,
Never
guys.
caught
Mm.
passes. It's not like he's versatile or anything. And I think those other guys, like we believed in their talent a lot more than his. So I don't even know if I would put him up near Giddens. Like I might even put him back where we had like Samson. Because like the floor is going to fall out of that. Like especially when you see like no 7th round rookie is going to maintain a full job. Well, maybe he does. Maybe he's a unicorn, but I am willing to be wrong on that than get killed by having a bunch of bets on somebody being a unicorn, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
I was just asking the question. I mean to derail
Yeah.
the show so you can get
No,
back
it's
to
good.
where we were, but it got me thinking because I've been redoing my rookie rankings. I did some of that with Theo, shameless plug for Theo's show, The Dynasty Life. We did a re-ranking of the class, but we only did like first 12, 15
Right.
players or whatever. But I did the whole exercise and I was like, whoa, wait a second. If I'm going by Steam, he's steamed probably above Scadabo and Tootin right now. Like
Oh,
he's
yeah.
the RB7 or whatever it is, you know? But I'm like, I don't think he's that. But
no.
like that's where the market is, I think, right this second, right now. So I think jumping on that market could be a way to exploit some value right now. Is all I'm getting
Just
at.
going back to how we process these guys, right? It's like my argument during the process, like which of these guys have traits that can make them an RB1 in fantasy football? And Scadaboo had the pass catching and the short yardage and the tackle breaking. Tootin had the incredible speed and
Yeah.
size combination, right? I can't put JCM above either of them for those two factors. Like he doesn't have RB1 written all over him. Like his opportunity in year one could actually get him fairly close to that. And I think that's people are chasing the immediate opportunity that they see, which may be real, may be a mirage. I'm not betting like I would bet mid second round capital in 2026 on it, but I wouldn't trade any of it. Like we talked about in the 2025 draft, the mid second round was like as good as a first round pick in most
Mhm.
years.
And also right now, aren't we operating under only rumors? I know they're pretty strong rumors, but Brian Robinson's
Still there. And
on the
like I
By the
said, they're
time
going
this
to need
episode
another
drops,
body.
he might be gone. It seems
You think so?
inevitable. I
Yeah.
think he's gone. I think he's gone.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Interesting. I'm not as sold, but we're going to stick with some running backs since you guys
Go
are
for it.
mentioning them all. Let's talk about Cam Scadabo because he's been a little bit banged up. We haven't seen a ton from him. I've seen some really good reports on Tyrone Tracy. There was actually like I can't remember the beat writer's name. I think it might have been Schultz or something like that. But anyway, I'm fucking it up. Saying that it's Tyrone Tracy for sure, and it was always going to be Tyrone Tracy as the lead ball carrier. I don't know how true it is, but it looked like a respected beat writer account to me, guys. And so I'm not saying that that's gospel for it or anything, but I think Cam Scadabo's injury kind of put him a little bit behind the 8 ball there. I've always thought that Singletary could maybe be a little bit pesky because he is just that vet who's been with Dayball forever. And so what do you guys were steamier on Scadabo than me throughout the offseason. And so has some of that steam maybe subsided a little bit? Is this another dip that we're buying? What do we think, Joe?
I know what you're talking about and the reporter you're talking about. And I don't remember who it was
Yeah.
specifically, but I also thought that was a bunch of BS because what they were saying is basically like it's been Tyrone Tracy and it's gonna, it has continued to be Tyrone Tracy. But what they failed to mention is like when Scadaboo got hurt was like right when he was starting to get first team reps. So, I mean, it looked like the tide was turning a little bit and Scadaboo was starting to get in with the ones a lot more and get more responsibilities. That being said, anytime a rookie at any position, particularly running back or wide receiver, misses a good chunk of training camp, you just delay their breakout date, right? I mean, it went from week 2 to week 5 or 6. Like, unless there's an injury in front of him, I just don't think you can count on Scadaboo contributing early in the season at this stage because of how much time he's missed. But that rationale, I think, is wrong. I think that they love this dude and presuming health, he's going to get his cracks at it early in the season. Now, I believe it's Tyrone Tracy for sure, but Scadaboo will be heard from.
He'll be
Oh
heard
yeah,
from.
heard from for
Yeah.
sure. But I think that leads to it still maintaining to be a 50-50 backfield and not a full Scatabo takeover is kind of where I'm
I
leaning.
just think it's
The
going to
rookie-
shift as the season goes along. It's going to be just two lines converging as the season goes along, right? Like
The rookie getting hurt is never a good thing, though.
No,
never a good thing.
no, definitely. Okay, what about Bashal Tootin? Because talk about like the time to capitalize, Joe. You were talking about this is the prime time to bite on those guys that you believe in and stuff, because this is a running back depth chart that seems to have flipped 6 or 7 times over the offseason, with Travis Etienne looking like the guy, lots of Tank Bigsby steam with him being maybe the best pure runner on the team, and then Bashal Tootin being that electricity quotient that was brought in by Liam Cohen. A lot of people saying, is he going to get the Bucky Irving role? Is he not? Bashal Tootin, though, seems like a pretty good little dip to buy on me, too, because I've been seeing that he's kind of third in the pecking order here. And I think it's, like you said, only a matter of time before he's going to get some run. And with his profile, maybe a little bit different than Scadabo's, I think when he gets some run, he's going to flash some massive, exciting plays. It might be few and far between, but it's going to make you salivate. And so I think we all on this show are probably maintaining value from where we drafted him at that mid-second as a guy who is kind of on our bench, hopefully coming up and getting a role. Any change on that, Steam Jacks?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I would actually I think I like JCM over Bashal Tootin right now.
Wow.
I just read before hopping on the show. Well, he announced it just before we hopped on the show, and I just read it just now. Ian Rappaport saying that basically they're going to find a trade partner, even if they have to include money to get a draft pick. If not, he's a cut candidate. To your point, Joe, I think that Brian Robinson is on the way out almost for sure, based off that reporting. Again, by the time the show hits, maybe that's all in the past. And if that's the case, like JCM is looked at by the Washington, whatever they're called, Commandos, as a integral part of the offense. I can't say that about Bashal Tootin right now. Bashal Tootin has had some fumbling issues in college, had some sort of, he wasn't highly graded by PFF because of ball security and decision making, and he's got some of that happening now in the pros. I think it's going to take some time. I think he's going to be more of a spell player, a guy that is brought in to make big plays. Those guys sometimes don't always hit because they can't be trusted. So I'm getting a little heebie-jeebies on Tootin. I'm pushing him back into that third round right now of a rookie draft. If I were doing it over again, I'd take all the quarterbacks ahead of him. I'd take all the tight ends ahead of him. So yeah, I'd push him now behind all those players, and I put him in the bigger group of running backs. In the Devin Neals and stuff like that. Yeah, he's down in there. And I think JCM might be right there. I'm not sure. So yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, no good.
I think for me with Tootin, like especially opposite to a JCM, is that he needs so little volume to be viable in like a flex spot. You know what I mean? And so I think he's a guy that can maybe grow into that trust, right? Like obviously year one, like you can expect, like if you expect nothing this year, you're going to be happy with Bashal Tootin, basically.
You have two running backs on that roster with better draft capital.
Yeah, for sure. And he's going to be kind of the spell guy, but long term, I think after this season, one of those guys, potentially Travis Etienne, might not necessarily be
and
there.
They'll draft another running back.
Yeah, maybe. But if he's a 1B,
they will draft him. Whether they draft him in the 4th round, the 5th round, the 2nd round, or the 3rd round, I don't know. But they're drafting another running back. Yeah.
I kind of can't believe what I'm hearing right now, guys.
I'm pretty surprised.
I need to remind you that Bashal Tootin's 206 pounds and ran a 4.32 40. He's electric. He's got crazy moves. One of my criticisms of him is like he's got too many moves and he tries to use them too much. And that's to the point you were making, Jax. It's like the decision making. It's like just cut and go, dude. Just cut and go. He was always an upside bet, right? His upside is so much higher. Like his upside is top 2, top 3 RB in this class, and that could reveal itself by mid-season. So I know that there's a more clogged depth chart in front of him, but like JCM for Tootin, oh my God, I'd take the Tootin side on that all day long, unless I'm dying for the production of the field. I like if I've got depth, I'm taking Tootin. If I need the production this year, I'm keeping JCM. But no, Tootin's upside is still too tantalizing. He hasn't failed yet. And the upside's too high to give up on that. That's like just like walking out on Achan after like a questionable preseason, right? It's like, what are
I
we
don't
doing?
know. Obviously I had Achan much higher prospect. I drafted him in the first round. Tootin was never thought of in the first round, but that's a story for another day. But that being said, like for me, if you want to give me just one thing that I can tell you about a running back, it's just opportunity. Like all I care about is opportunity. That's the only thing that really matters. Like, talent be damned. If I tell you that Ramondre is going to get 300 carries and 60 targets, do you like him or Travion? I'll take Ramondre. Like, what are we talking about? I don't know what happened to Travion, but he must be dead.
Well,
Give me the
Chris
opportunity.
Rodriguez started over, over JCM, and Austin Eckler has a very defined role on that offense. Like,
Agree with
are we
that.
sure this is not just perceived opportunity? Like, they
Could
like
be.
him. Don't get me wrong; they're like very excited about him. But
Something is
don't
making
forget
them.
about how excited the Jags were about Tootin. How what's
Yeah.
their name? Their head coach talked about, or
Going, yeah.
their GM talked about drafting a guy like Tootin in his interview, right? Like they're
Yeah.
excited about Tootin too.
Yep.
yeah. It's an interesting conversation, and yeah, I'm not backing off of the evaluation just yet, even though I will concede, Jax, that the path for Tootin seems more clogged than what we thought it was going to be
Yep.
when we took him. So, yeah, an interesting case with a lot of upside there. Okay, let's talk about Ollie Gordon real quick. I know that you were mentioning him in the trade there, but I think his opportunity is looking much better. 10 carries, 50 yards in their most recent preseason game, in a game where Jalen Wright had 4 carries for 3 yards, which is probably the bigger story for Ollie Gordon than his 10 carries is Jalen Wright's carries where he sucked. And this one hurts me really bad, boys, because Jalen Wright was one of my biggest breakout candidates as the 1B to Devon Achane. I think we're pretty confident that the 1B is going to have standalone value in that offense, or I am at least. And I like Ollie Gordon as well. So there is kind of a silver lining here, but it's looking like it's way more up in the air, and Jalen Wright's little flashes that he had last season are maybe not holding water for him anymore. So Joe, we know that you're fully in on the Ollie Gordon train. Are you out on the Jalen Wright train?
I wouldn't even say I'm fully in on the Ollie Gordon train, frankly. I think
Right.
Madison getting injured kind of opened the doors like, all right, this got less muddled. Right now, it's like these are our 3 dudes, and Jeff Wilson's on the Niners now. It's like these are the 3 guys. So my answer is I don't know. I think that Jalen Wright has way more potential than Ollie Gordon, but Ollie Gordon does 2 things really well. He's big and he's a pass catcher. And those are valuable commodities from a fantasy football profile standpoint. So I don't want to overreact to Jalen Wright's non-performance because he looked pretty good last year when the team was functional. And, we don't know what they're trying to do in these preseason games, not to mention their whole offensive line wasn't playing against a better, defensive front than what Ollie Gordon was facing. So I don't want to overreact, but to your point, like the door's open and I don't know the answer, which is why I'm like, let me just get my hands on some
Take
Ollie Gordon.
shots.
Yeah. Let me just
Take shots. And it's the
yeah.
Dolphins backfield. This is one of the backfields to take shots on behind Devon Achane. And I mean, both players have a little bit of upside, and they're both young as well. So I like it
Yeah,
too.
and my concern with Ollie Gordon was he wasn't going to be a good fit for this offense, but I think this offense is evolving pretty rapidly, which is why you don't want to make too big of like schematic fit bets on players. You just want to bet on player quality, right? And Ollie Gordon was a 6th round pick, so it's not like the player quality was super high. The NFL had the same kind of concerns over that last year that like the fantasy community did. So I'd be lying if I said I knew, and I just think it's prudent to have shares.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Agree. I think, at this particular point, also with Achan sort of being hobbled with the calf, who knows how long that lingers. If it does linger, maybe he's fine. He's week 1, ready to go, and he's all fired up. But if there's anything that happens to Achan where he's missing multiple weeks, it's very, very likely that Ollie Gordon is the lead back.
Yeah.
After Christian McCaffrey last season, calf injuries are like my new least favorite injury. I'm just like, oh God, what does that mean? That could be anything. It could be
Beware.
a torn
Beware.
That could be anything. Is he dead?
Yeah, it's the opposite of it. It could even be a boat.
Amputating his leg?
Yeah. Amputation? What's going on?
Yeah. Another guy recently a little bit banged up, Tet McMillan, guys. He, as of this Tuesday, he didn't practice this today after only getting a couple targets in the preseason game for the Carolina Panthers this past weekend. I think they're probably going to be extra cautious with Tet McMillan with how important he's going to be for this offense and Bryce Young's next step. You guys actually were maybe a little bit lower on Tet than me. For me, I have him just inside my top 24 for 2025. So I am fairly up there on him having a good rookie season. Jax, how are you feeling about Tet now that some things have settled? We've seen kind of the pieces form around him. Whole lot of lunch pail there with Adam Thielen and Hunter Renfrow. And then Tet McMillan is in there. So what's your level of excitement on Tet going in now that, we're not evaluating him on being maybe the fourth pick of the draft, we're evaluating him on being the wide receiver 1 for the Panthers?
Marvin Harrison Jr., Rome Odunze, Tet McMillan. That's all I'm going to say. There's just something there. Outside X, small quarterback too.
Not true about Rome. It's okay.
What do you mean?
He's not just an outside X.
I didn't say just. Don't get in your feelings.
You did not.
I'll tell you what. If you thought he played a lot of slot last year, then it's even worse for Rome Odunze, because the point of the matter is that if he's in the slot, he should be winning. My point here is that these guys,
all of Rome's reports right now are so fucking good. So fucking good. But anyway, this isn't the Rome conversation again.
I find it funny that you guys are circling back on Rome now.
Shut up, Joe.
I'm not circling. Jesus.
No.
It's
like Rome Odunze birthed himself out of your butthole. That's how much.
As if you didn't know what you were doing with that, sir.
I had no ill will.
I'm just saying, don't pigeonhole him into a role as just being an X receiver.
Is Rome Canadian or something?
You're pigeonholing. You're plucking out of the pigeonhole.
You're comparing them all as X receivers, and all I was trying to say, and you stopped on the comment and talked about it, is...
Can we let Jax finish his point? I would like to hear the point Jax is going to make.
Carry on.
Thank you.
Carry on, Johnson.
My goodness, I can't get a word in edgewise with Rome Odunze's mother in this fucking podcast. Listen, Miss Odunze, can I say something real quick?
You best not be talking about my Rome.
Now that was funny.
Carry on.
How do I fucking follow that up? So I just think there's a certain amount of sort of outside X. That's the position they're signed up for, by the way. That's the position that your son said he's good at. Down the field X receiver. There's a little bit of a cap ceiling unless you do move into the slot. Unless you do, even what Jamar Chase did, who I think Jamar is maybe the best wide receiver in the NFL, wasn't leading the league in all those stat categories until they gave him the queen chess piece spot. So if Thielen's going to be in the slot getting easy targets, if Coker's going to be in there, if who's the other guy? The accountant's going to be in there getting his receding hairline's getting targeted. If all that's going to happen, it does limit the PPR upside of Tet McMillan. That's my only fear. He's still right there with Ibuka as my wide receiver 1 in the class. I've got no issue with it. I just have a little bit more confidence that Ibuka will be, a PPR guy. So in most of these PPR leagues, if you're playing some sort of standard league or, where yards or touchdowns matter a bit more, sure, I think Tet could be moved up. But in a PPR format or something resembling that, half PPR, half point per first down, I prefer Ibuka still slightly, but right there, right with him. But I think Tet will be just fine. I'm just a little bit concerned. I mean, are we just yada the Bryce Young is awesome now? No, I'm not so confident. I'm not so confident he is, and I'm not sure what exactly goes down here in year 1.
even via compiling volume, I think he could be serviceable wide receiver. Obviously, serviceable is not the bar that we're setting for Tet McMillan for sure, but I don't see why he couldn't be a successful outside wide receiver, even if he is kept just outside. Why couldn't he do things like what Mike Evans does as just an X wide receiver, right?
I mean, we're
That's
talking about
a high bar.
the greatest one of a
Yeah, but
generation.
Tet McMillan was drafted in the top 10. I'm not saying that I'm saying Tet McMillan is going to be a Hall of Fame wide receiver. I'm saying if we're looking at range of outcomes for a guy who could potentially be as an X wide receiver.
I would posit the great Drake London, who had 2 years of struggle before he was actually able to put together a meaningful statistical line. We believed in him the whole time. I'm not going to stop believing in Tet just because he might struggle a little bit statistically. I still kind of believe with you in Rome Odunze. When does the statistical win happen? When do we win in Dynasty? When do we win in fantasy? When do I get Jamar Chase in his current iteration rather than, I mean, obviously Jamar, again, the number one player in the league at the position. I think he's the best wide receiver, but still didn't have the number one stat line. That was Cooper Kupp dunking all over him, running routes out of the slot, and then running 2 wide receiver sets at flanker.
I think I have a lot to say on this subject, but first, I have nothing bad to say about Teteroa. I think he's a top 2 wide receiver in this class, and London has kind of always been the comp from a play style standpoint. Our argument against Tet Trav was that at that position in our rookie drafts, it was you should trade down or you should take a running back because that's the strength of this class and that's where you're going to make a bigger difference than what somebody with Teteroa's profile is going to make. That being said, Bryce Young kind of excels at the stuff that a Drake London / Teteroa McMillan would be good at, like these mid-range, intermediate, not deep, but like intermediate in breaking routes and stuff like that. So I think his setup is completely different. And, you mentioned Marvin Harrison. I mean, I think he's in kind of a purgatory with both his quarterback not targeting the area of the field where he excels and his offensive coordinator, yep. Right? So it's a different setup, and I think Tet is pretty primed to be a top 24 wide receiver in year one. I mean, is he going to make the leap to elite right away? I don't think so, but I think he's got the skill set to get into the top 12, certainly within the first 2 or 3 years of his career. So I'm pretty comfortable with him. Like I said, I got nothing bad to say about him. It's just, would I rather have him or Travion Henderson? I know my answer.
I think one of the ways that Tet gets there too is, in the red zone. Like, he's just an absolute beast. He goes up and gets it. He's a creative ball catcher. Like, he can one-hand it. Like, you've seen all the kind of cool-ass catches, catching it between the legs and stuff. Like, those are for show, but those show that he's got some skill. He can get up there and
they're also for show.
Yeah, for show. Right? Miss McMillan, totally. Is that you?
Hey. Trav, McMillan or Rome Odunze?
Oh, you're a bastard.
I know my answer.
It's Rome.
Oh,
it's Rome.
I think I'm Tet.
Me too. I'd take Tet.
It's pretty close. It's pretty close. Let me see where I have him.
All right. Teteroa or Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Oh my gosh. Feels like almost a reroll.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take Marv.
I think it's Marv still, yeah.
Yeah. God, this is like the line.
That's like a tier, though. Those 3 guys. And Jax, I just want to say, I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean those nasty things I said. But those 3 guys you mentioned are a tier. That's like I'm without looking at my rankings, because honestly, I'm looking at my 2025 rankings and there's no tab to go to the Dynasty ones, and I don't want to seek it out, but they're all right in there.
Yes, they are.
Okie dokie smoky. So as we another first round wide receiver, Matthew Golden. Things are looking golden for one Matthew, guys. Jaden Reed is banged up and not necessarily a direct kind of role replacement, obviously, but potentially more targets that could be coming the way of Matthew Golden. And he's going to be on the field for almost every snap for this team. And that's got to make him something more than what we valued him at. That's for sure, boys. So what is the new perception on Matthew Golden as we go into 2025? Joe, let's start with you.
So his UN score was a 64.9, which that puts him right at like the 50-50 range as to whether or not he's going to succeed or fail in the league. That's kind of the first place I go, just because statistically he resembled a lot of busts, right? And he ends up getting this, top 20 draft capital in the actual NFL draft. So there's signal there. And he's in a receiver room where there's no clear alpha. So, there's opportunity there. So like he's got this very nice setup. The 4.29 we've talked about is, in question. That doesn't really matter all that much anyways. I guess, these 50-50 propositions to me, I think why I hated him during rookie draft season is these 50-50 propositions to me belong in the second round of drafts, and he was going in the first round. So this was a case of like, don't hate the player, hate the ADP. And his rookie draft ADP, I absolutely hated. And, I got him in one league where he felt to me at like 2.3. I was like, all right, this is where I take him, even though I don't like the prospect. So
Joe, I think it comes down to this too. I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm gonna anyway. I'm Mrs. What's his name? Whatever.
Mrs. Golden.
Mrs. Golden over here has got to say something. But we look at the second round. It was Jaden Higgins, Luther Burden, Matthew Golden, Trey Harris were the sort of the big four receivers that you could get at the early part of the second
in rookie draft.
Maybe, in rookie draft. Maybe he's jumped Trey Harris, but I don't think has he jumped Burden or Higgins for you yet?
No,
me neither.
No.
So I feel like he's exactly where we had him. Maybe I would now, if I were drafting, I'd split, maybe lean Golden over Harris in a lot of those spots, but that's probably it.
My instinct in this whole situation that's unfolding in Green Bay is, good God, I do not have nearly enough Tucker Kraft. That's what my instinct is saying. It's like, I think that's actually the dude we want.
Could be.
He's probably the most constant, right? And yeah, I think that's a good point too, Jax, because Golden doesn't necessarily move up within the rookie landscape, but I think he probably does bump up within that kind of lower end of the dynasty wide, maybe not lower end, but in that end of the dynasty wide receiver where he's maybe closed the gap between himself, a bunch of vets, and Trey Harris and them, and Jaden Higgins and
Can I ask you a couple guys?
Yeah, do it.
Let's go. I've got a couple too.
This or that on Matthew Golden. Matthew Golden or Jameson Williams?
Jameson.
Matthew Golden or DK Metcalf?
Holy fuck, DK.
I think so too.
Okay, that one's a little closer for me. Matthew Golden or DJ Moore?
Probably Golden.
Oh, that's fucking close. I think DJ Moore.
It's such a question mark right now.
DJ Moore moving to another team even next year still could have higher ceiling than
if he was on the Packers. I'd love DJ Moore.
Can you imagine? Yeah. Shorter term ceiling probably goes to Moore, but I think long term viability probably goes to Golden.
Yeah, DJ Moore's already 28 years old. I know DK is getting up there too, but yeah.
That's why DK is a little bit interesting for me. But
right,
what about the Devontae Adams or Matthew Golden situation
for this season or Dynasty?
No, Dynasty.
Yeah, Matthew.
Obviously,
Golden.
this season it's Adams.
Yeah. Matthew
I would
Golden,
hate it though. Like it's Matthew Golden, but I don't like it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I have them back to back, and I have Adams there, and I have yet to. Devontae's holding the he's the gatekeeper of that little tier where it's like, hold on, man. Like I'm still fucking Devontae Adams this year. Like I don't know if Matthew Golden or Trey Harris will ever have a season as good as what Devontae Adams is going to put up this year, like ever.
I do that too with my rankings too. I like that where you have like a little barrier of age before those younger guys can kind of ascend. I've got multiple spots of that.
You just got to be good to get in there. You got to be good.
Yeah.
And Luther Burden and Jaden Higgins, I do have ahead of Devontae. And it's like that's where it's like, okay, once he breaks free of that, then it's like, okay, there's a lot of players. Like
could be pretty early season too, right?
Even Terry McLaurin right now, obviously kind of holding out, and like his production has only been buoyed by touchdowns. Like I don't know, man. Like he's a little bit. He's a nervous hold right now. If you're holding him in Dynasty, what about like Brandon Ayuk? Are you guys way down on Brandon
I
Ayuk?
love Brandon Ayuk. You guys know that.
Ayuk or Golden?
I think I'm going Golden.
Yeah, me too. Me too. What about last one, just for fun? I'm pretty sure I know what you're going to say, but it might bring up some conversation. Matthew Golden or Zay Flowers?
Zay Flowers.
Oh man,
I'm Zay Flowers. I know Zay Flowers is good.
Trav?
I think I'm going Golden, and here's
Zay
why.
Flowers is interesting. Go for it. I'd love to
Here's
hear
why.
it.
Because Zay Flowers, we've already seen the ceiling for Zay Flowers, right? We've
There
already
it is.
seen that it's not that high.
That's right.
I disagree.
I agree
Joe.
with Trav here.
So
Go.
we've
Let him cook.
seen Zay Flowers' ceiling in Baltimore. It's not going to get a ton better. It's not. And
He's entering year 3. This used to be the breakout year.
Do you see him ever being a 1,200 yard and 12 touchdown receiver for that
Mrs.
team?
Flowers, please let Trav
Do you
continue.
see Zay Flowers doing that?
Yeah, I think it's possible.
Oh, I don't think it's possible for him. And so that's why I would go for Matthew Golden, because I think his upside is at least already what Zay Flowers has done. Potentially more, because he's just got that speed target. We could have been wrong, boys. I like, that's why I was talking
Zay
about
Flowers
the
does feel capped a little bit.
Zay Flowers' floor is also pretty darn established as high.
Agree.
Like
And
800
Golden's
yards.
is not.
Agree with that. Agree with that.
But I don't know.
No, I agree with the floor.
No, yes,
floor,
for sure.
because
I would
we have
trade
no
a
idea.
late first for Zay Flowers. I would not trade a late first for Matthew Golden. That's as simple as
I
that.
would trade you
close.
Zay
I don't know.
Flowers.
Yeah.
I would trade you Zay Flowers.
I think
I've already got him in all our leagues together. I might be in the back. All right, I got one more for Matthew Golden.
All right, go ahead.
Matthew Golden or Jacory Croskey-Merritt.
Matthew Golden. Easily.
I see you, Jax. I see you thinking. So you still
Can I
have
get
him as an early mid-second.
Can I get a 2-3 swap? You got one of them 2-3 swaps, dog.
Give me a 2-3 swap. You got yourself a deal. I'll do a 2-3 swap.
Let me put it this way: in the leagues I have, I think you should take Matthew Golden. But in the leagues where I have JCM, I actually need JCM, and I'm not trading him for Matthew Golden.
For sure.
You'd be like,
Totally,
An
especially
extra
for
wide
Golden.
receiver.
That's wrong, by the way. I want to be very clear. Bad process, but
yes.
I'm trying to win those right now.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily even bad process. In a vacuum, it's bad process. But if Golden's coming to your team to be a wide receiver 6, where you already have some future youth and you need some wide receiver, or you need some running back, that's not bad process to me.
All right, I'm sorry to just keep going back to JCM, but he is the topic of the week. All right. So
you guys make that trade yet?
No. I'm going to throw one out here. I'm going to throw one out here because this is actually super relevant right now. So in FFPC leagues, first of all, talk about deviousness. I was talking about this earlier in the show. Like, cut down day is coming up at the end of August, and then the first run of waivers happens. And I've just started doing this devious thing where I'm already cutting because you got to cut down to 20. I'm cutting ballers that are like owned in 87% of leagues already. I'm just like, there's no place for this guy on my team, just to flood the market with other guys people are going to want more, so that I can get my real guys once waivers run. That's some also, Dino Joe game theory right there. Like just
bold strategy, Cotton.
Yeah, it is bold strategy. I like Marshawn Lloyd. I'm like, you know what? You injured a hamstring again, you're cut. He's owned 87% of the leagues. I'm like, you're out.
Marshawn Lloyd, see you later.
But I'm trying to figure out how much I need to bid on JCM. It's $1,000 budget. How much are you bidding on JCM? Let's say first waiver run is the first week of September, right? Leading up to week 1. What's he worth right now? But sight unseen in a regular season game, what would you bid on him?
In what's the format again? Just real quick.
This is FFPC 20-man rosters.
He's going to be using that fab.
Yeah.
He's going to be using that fab.
It's
not
the
one.
The question is whether or not someone's going to put it all in.
Yeah.
That's the question.
I
don't think he's worth all of it.
What's the historical
bidding
like?
I mean, it varies league to league.
Yeah,
I can tell you right now.
Oh yeah, cross leagues, not just one league you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm in multiple FFPC leagues. I've bid $569, and I'm just like, it's just that it's like sitting there. Yeah, of course.
That's right.
Beautiful.
Thank you. That's the 50% plus the tax.
I was thinking about 690, but I was like, I don't know if that's why. I might go up to 690.
Right.
Yeah.
669 is a bet. Yeah, you gotta make smart bets.
But I mean,
That's a
like,
smart
is that
bet.
crazy? Is that crazy? 50% sight unseen. We haven't seen this dude play yet.
That's a hefty number.
It-
Like if you're stacked and need that running back, do it.
I'm pretty stacked at wide receiver, and I'm hopeless at running back in one league, and that's where I'm going all in because it's just like I've been building. It was a rebuild, and I've just been building through wide receiver. I've got Neighbors, I've got McConkey. It's like pretty good there. The other thing in FFPC you got to remember is like you play a kicker in a defense, you need to keep a few bucks to churn.
Mhm.
Yeah. Can you trade for Fab?
No, you can't. Not in FFPC.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
And nobody's trading right now anyways because everyone's worried about cut downs. Like I've tried that.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, I'm just going to cut good players so people spend their money there.
I am curious. You better tell us how that goes and tell us how that how the bids in the waiver wire goes on that because I'm curious to see. I got two more guys for us,
Okay.
boys, and they're wide receivers. The first one we're going to talk about is really looking like he might test the UN score model, and that's Isaac TeSlaa. One of the lower scores we've ever had. He scored 2 touchdowns in the preseason. Obviously, grain of salt. But you know the Twitter streets, boys. Everybody gets their dicks all hard, and they're talking about Isaac TeSlaa being potentially the wide receiver 2 for the Detroit Lions. Not going to be the case if you're listening to the Dynasty Underground. I think I can safely say. Jax, you gave me a little bit of a shake of the head. So not readjusting on Isaac TeSlaa, are we?
No, and actually, Akash, who he sometimes is not all that funny, but had a great tweet. I'm gonna try and find it real quick because I really enjoyed it. Go ahead, Joe, and I'll find the tweet. And I'll
Why
go
you
back
do
and
that?
say-
I'm going to try and find a way to tie this.
Oh,
back
here it is.
to-
Here it is. I got it. He goes, Isaac TeSlaa has no college production, mediocre draft capital, and no easy path to targets. But he does have 2 contested catches in preseason, so it really could go either way. That's the tweet. It's a good tweet.
That is a very good tweet.
Good tweet. That's a good tweet. So it's like, it's like on one hand, he has nothing to show for his entire career, but does have that one really cool catch that you saw. So who knows what could happen? Yeah, it just feels like are we really doing this?
We're getting cute. We're getting cute.
We're talking about Jameson Williams, and I'm like, I'm not sure if there's enough there for him to actually get there. And we're like, all of a sudden, Isaac TeSlaa is going to do something. Like, bro, I missed me with that one. I'll go ahead and sit with the UN score and be happy to be wrong if it is. So see Isaac TeSlaa.
0 shares, 0 cares for me.
0 cares.
I have to be honest.
I'm not worried about getting beat by Isaac TeSlaa.
Might be one of the first times I have been able to naturally just throw out a 0 shares, 0 cares spontaneously myself without being sparked by one of yours, and that felt good. That felt really good.
There you go. It does feel good.
I'm just gonna say this. I didn't draft him anywhere, and if he was on a waiver wire, which I'm sure he's not, but if he was on a waiver wire, I'd take a flyer on him for relatively cheap.
Probably wouldn't.
Here's the pro case. I'm just going to be the contrarian just for the sake of being the contrarian here, right? The Lions fell in love with him at the Senior Bowl because of his blocking, and that's a part of their culture, right? You block to get the rock. That's kind of their thing, right? They traded their 3/3, right? Their 3rd round pick this year and 2 3rd round picks in 2026 to move up to get him way before consensus.
Yeah.
And those are all of the good things that I have to say about TeSlaa because his profile
it could go either way.
He's got some good flow,
But
he does have lettuce.
I don't know, like guys, like I'm not going to sit here and pretend.
People comparing him to Puka because of the hair out of the helmet is hilarious.
This year's Puka for sure.
Yeah. I mean, like. We don't know, and I hate to ever be too arrogant, and we've said a million times, be ready to be wrong, and the UN score is not a death sentence, right?
No.
And, he started at some school we've never heard of, some junior college that we've never heard of, right? And then transferred and all of that. So, I don't know. Is there more to his story? It feels like a preseason smokescreen. I wouldn't buy into it.
Yeah, I think when you talk about the UN score not being infallible, of course not, because it's literally just data. That's all it is. So really, it's just a matter of betting the odds. And it's like, It's like watching a poker hand and being like, oh, he's got a 2-outer on the river, and you're like, well, that's 4%. So haha, you're gonna lose.
Exactly.
I bet you lose, and then the card comes and you look like an idiot. No, you don't. You're make that bet over and over and over and over and over and over again for infinity, because that's the right bet, and that's the bet we're making on Isaac TeSlaa. It doesn't have what it takes to normally come from nowhere and become the type of player we're looking for in fantasy. So for those reasons, I'm out.
Let's simplify it even more. Aside from his horrific prospect profile and UN score, he's competing against Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Jameson Williams, who's an ascending, on the cusp of becoming a star. And Sam Laporta and Jahmyr Gibbs. So he's, at best, a bad prospect 3rd-round pick who's 5th in the pecking order. He's an injury away from being an injury away from being an injury away to getting a meaningful target share. So, that's kind of...
If he's any good.
If he's any good.
Yeah.
Incredible odds. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Talk about where there's smoke get high. If you in any way can find yourself a 3rd out of Isaac TeSlaa, even a 4th, hammer that.
Yeah, absolutely.
See ya.
All right, so
let's ride out on a positive note. Potentially the new, and there are a lot, potentially the new best nickname of the Dynasty Underground. Joe, would you care to lay it out for us, as you so eloquently do?
Are we talking about El Tercero the Second?
Si, senor. Si. We absolutely are.
Quick pause, real quick. Last week we talked about Efton Chisholm, and I didn't know when we were talking about him that he was Efton Chisholm the third, which changes everything. Changes everything. All right, first of all, can you believe there was an Efton Chisholm Jr. out there, and Efton Chisholm Jr. was like, you know what? I'm really glad my dad gave me my name. I'm going to give the same name to my son, Efton.
Yeah. Efton A, Cotton. Efton A.
we need another one. Let's go with Efton Chisholm the third. And that drips confidence. So it changes. I don't care if you run a 4.7 anymore. Like, I'm kind of interested
Don't
now.
matter.
Your family has proven to be very proud of who they are, and they have a lot of sex. They have a lot of sex in the Chisholm family. There's a lot of Chisholms out there.
A lot of Chisholm with the Chisholms for sure. Yeah.
But anyways, we already have a third, Ricardo Blanco El Tercero. So given that we have another one now, he's El Tercero the second.
Right, the second. Mm-hmm. That's right.
And so, Jax, realistically, what's the high end outcome for one Efton Chisholm the third or El Tercero the second?
Well, I will tell you, I was on DraftKings looking at MVP odds. I think, there's an opportunity.
You may be right.
What happened? Someone.
What are the odds?
I know wide receivers don't normally win it, but
what's the line on that? I might throw down.
I've heard people from his college get triple crowns as wide receivers in the NFL. I'm just betting on it. I think, really, here's the real thing. He's blocked by Pop Douglas.
That's not the biggest block.
Right? So I said on
if it was Pop Douglas Jr., I might be worried.
Right. Or the third or fourth, we would be having the conversation. But yeah, it's just regular Pop. But I was having the conversation with Brandon Adam on Undrafted today, and I was basically saying how, it's going to come down to what he does with his minimal opportunities when he gets them, because you feel like he's going to get some opportunities. And if he goes 3 targets, no catches, and you're like, maybe a little lights are too bright for you. Nothing happens. That happens a couple games in a row. Next thing you know, he's relegated, and maybe next year type of thing. It could be one of those situations where he almost gets nothing. But at the flip side of that, if he's sort of rotated in on a few series here and there, and he gets those same 3 or 4 targets, but he has 3 catches for 62 yards, and you're like, dude, fucking made 2 or 3 big plays this week. Like, the coaching staff's going to see that. The media is going to see it. The fans are going to see that. he's already a fan favorite. So he's got a little bit of wind behind his sails. So if he makes a couple of big plays, and if he can look, he's clearly a good player. I mean, I don't mean to be weird about this, but like, he's a good football player. Like, dude, Efton Chisholm or Isaac TeSlaa, this isn't close. You're giving me this slot guy who's actually, Chisholm doesn't have a UN score. We should ask, Coder to tell us what it would be if he was like a 6th or 7th round pick, because that basically you have to be drafted, otherwise there's no score. I think there was a score. I'd love to see it. Because he was a target earner and stuff like that. I mean, he kind of broke some records. Like, he was a performer in college, albeit he's 5'10", carries a lunch pail, and went to a lower level school. But I think the lunch pail has a lot to do with him not being drafted. I'm not going to lie to you. Obviously, the size and speed didn't help him. But look, if he's one of these guys that can get open in the middle of the field, Hunter Renfrow is one of your heroes. I mean, this is that type of player. Maybe he's he's one of these guys. He's Pop Douglas. Maybe he's better than Pop, and he can work his way onto the field and be a slot guy. So that's really the upside.
If there's any town that loves themselves a lunch pail, it's Boston, man.
There you go. And
especially little guys too.
Any coaching lineage too, like a coaching lineage that loves that. Like, this is still the same lineage with Vrabel and McDaniels and stuff.
It really
right?
is.
So they will trust a guy like that. And to your point, Jax, 75% slot last year in his 5th year at Eastern Washington. 1,306 yards and 13 touchdowns the guy hauled in. And then the year before, 89%, 939 yards and 8 touchdowns. So not just like a compiler, he was sniffing end zone too. So Efton Chisholm the third, El Tercero the second. I love it. And that's where we're going to end on this one, boys. I think that was a fun little ride for the listener. We had some good trade conversation. Probably circled back on Jacory Croskey-Merritt 16 or 17 times too many. But I think we had a good time doing it. So I wouldn't have it any other way, fellas. We had some good rookie conversation. Lots more to come. The season is upon us, and we are just getting started here at Dynasty Underground. Only 31 episodes in, and we appreciate all you listeners for all of the listening that you've done, all the comments and stuff. Keep them coming. Keep the subscriptions coming on the YouTube channel. Check us out on your audio platforms, and find us on social media at The Undroppables. For the wise man, Jax Falcone, and with his pinky up, Joe Quavius Kuvatakis, I am Trav. We'll see you next week. Peace.